Okay, good evening, sir. My name is Gani Kiet. I'm from the Faculty of Accountancy in NTU. Okay, I've got a question. Because looking at the current slate of PAP candidates right now, we can tell that a lot of them are from unions and probably the civil service. So I would like to know if the policy of allocating ministerial wages on the basis that if they leave government service, they can get an equivalent high-paying job in the private sector. I was wondering if these people really left the civil service, would they be able to get an equivalent high-paying job there? And if so, maybe they deserve the high pay. But if not, then perhaps this calls for a revision of the ministerial pay benchmarks.
I don't think we need to revise the benchmarks because they came from the government or the unions. The reason that I can get good people from the government and the unions is because I have a pay system which is working properly. People do not enter politics to get rich, but neither will they enter politics if, as a result, they and their family will become poor. Because I've got a good pay system, I've got benchmarks, I've got a formula which follows the market up and down and is at roughly the right level. So I have got high-quality people in the system, and they are doing well. And if you read the Economist article, which I referred to just now, they mention this point, that we are not ashamed to pay our civil servants properly. And at the top, they said $2 million, which I think is a bit of an overestimate, but they meant to. But at the top, we pay $2 million. And they said, as a result, you have high-quality civil servants, and this is something which Western countries can emulate. And I think it's something which is not easy to accept emotionally, but is the right thing for Singapore. If you want the system to work for the long term, you must be honest about it. What do I pay for? I pay for the importance of the job and how difficult it is to do. I pay for the quality of the person whom I am looking for to occupy that position and do that job. And I think, given the responsibilities which you are holding, I mentioned finance just now and defense, but I could make a similar argument for the other ministries, although I think finance and defense are amongst the most difficult ones. I think those jobs easily merit the pay which the ministers are getting.
If I may add on.
Yes.
It has been shown that the U.S. President Barack Obama is actually paid lesser than a cabinet minister in Singapore. So I'm quite sure we agree that his job is a lot tougher than our cabinet ministers, being the leader of the free world and all. So if that's the case, how do you justify our ministerial pay being higher than that of Barack Obama?
Well, there are several answers to this. One is that retired U.S. presidents go on book tours. They write books, they are paid $10 million advance, they get somebody to help them write a tome, and they make a lecture tour. Every lecture is a book tour, they make money. Lecture tour, every lecture, Bill Clinton, $100,000 to $200,000 for half an hour. The lecture is more or less the same, whichever one you happen to listen to. But every time you go, he gets paid $100,000 to $200,000. That's the system. I think that's not a good system for us. We don't want ministers to retire and go on lecture tours. That's point number one. Point number two, because of the president's pay being set at a level which is not quite right, so all the rest of the civil service and government pay in the American system has to take dressing from there and come down and come down and come down and come down. And they have a very serious problem because as a result of this, their judges are underpaid, their civil servants are underpaid, and one year the Chief Justice Rehnquist, who's died now, wrote his annual judicial report to Congress. And he said to Congress, you're going to have a very serious constitutional problem. Because the senior judge sitting on the bench, hearing the case with junior lawyers arguing in front of him, is paid less than the junior lawyer on Wall Street. And where do you think the talent will go, and what do you think the consequences will be for our system? So that's their problem. That's not our problem. But I think we should learn from their problems and try and avoid making that kind of mistake.
Thank you, PMD.
Thank you, sir.
And as I mentioned again, can we have the next question? One question, please. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dan Bushin. I'm a South Korean student studying mechanical engineering at U.S. My question has to do with the fact that you said the lack of talent for governmental positions or lack of interest in young people to join political parties, the political party, has to do with the stability in Singapore. So while maintaining that stability in Singapore, do you see this changing in the next 10 to 20 years? And has that to do with your, perhaps, public education system? Thank you.
I think if the situation is like this, we will continue to have that challenge over the next 10 to 20 years. I don't know what we can do in the public education system. We can tell people how important it is that the country has good government. But from telling him that the country must have good government to telling him that therefore you must take an interest in this and involve yourself and engage yourself, there's quite a distance. Young people are on Facebook, young people play video games, young people spend time socializing, they spend time on social work activities, they spend time on religious activities. They have their lives to pursue. I don't think, unless there's some big thing which they are fighting over, politics will be at the top of the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, PMD. Can we have the next question, please?
Hi, Mr. Lee. My name is Calvin Paul. I'm from NUS, Political Science and New Media major. So I have this, I would like to end the analogy about national football team. We say that we have to have a strong football team so that we have an A team and not a B team. But we tend to forget that the national football team is drawn from many domestic football clubs. And I would like to ask this question. If let's say that the PAP loses a few GLCs in the upcoming elections, and if the opposition party has got really high caliber candidates, will the PAP ever consider drawing all these individuals into the cabinet and give them portfolios, since they are able to perform like the PAP candidates?
If they will join the PAP, we will consider the matter.
But sir,
but I will take your point, which was also raised earlier and I forgot to raise, and that is, it is true that the national team is drawn from a national league of many football clubs, and the PAP similarly must draw from a wide range of society in order to bring people in. And in fact, that is what we do try to do. We don't just look inside the PAP ranks. Eventually, they end up in the PAP ranks, and by the time we introduce them for meeting the press, they all wear white and white. But they were not born wearing white and white. They came from the grassroots. Some of them were in their private lives. Some of them were in the civil service. Some were lawyers. Some were doctors. A few were business people. And we bring them in wherever they are. And when we drink tea, we comb the whole national league, all the leagues, B division, C division. For football, we will even go and investigate the rugby teams, because we must make sure that we have not left anybody overlooked.
So precisely of the point of what you said, that we must bring every talented individual into the cabinet, isn't it the case? Why should we refuse them the chance to serve Singapore if they are capable, even if they don't wear all white?
No, because when you are governing, you have to have one party discipline. And they are not wearing white because they have decided that they do not want to be with the PAP and they wish to be challenging the PAP. And that's the basis on which the voters have elected them. So the voters, having elected them on the basis that they say they want to challenge the PAP, now you say, can I become part of the PAP? That's a completely different proposition, which I don't think whoever is the opposition will take. You should put this question the next time you have an opposition leader sitting down here. Then you'll get a good answer. I can't get into their minds.
Thank you, PM Lee.
Okay,
thank you, Kelvin, for your questions.